Hello, it is Monday. I just got back from class. We made this guy before class. And then we did these four either on the way to class, the way home, or during class. I spent the majority of class actually just staring straight ahead because this professor is mildly intimidating and I don't remember if she minds that I do this or not. It's just kind of too busy before starting for me to check with her beforehand. She didn't comment on it and she didn't give me a massive side eye, so I assume it's fine. I did have answers to her questions and I was taking notes, so she cannot judge me. Anyway, 5 mushies today. I still need to sew on their spots and cut off the ends, but that's fine. I'm gonna get ready to go to the gym now. I am hoping that it's not gonna be too busy, but then again I am going at peak hours, which is around 5, which is when most people get off school or work to go. I would like to plan to just go the 2 hours before closing time, so 8, somewhere between 8 and 10. But usually when it's dark out, which it still is at that time because it is January, I don't want to go because it's dark out. And in the summer when it's dark out, it's nice and cooling down a little bit, so then it's really nice to go. But right now it's not comfortable out when it's dark. So I'm gonna go now and I'm just gonna deal with the fact that it's busy. And then when I get home, I'm going to see if I'm gonna do more reading, more crochet, more whatever. I was so productive this morning, you wouldn't even believe. I made all of those mushies. I edited a video. I did an assignment. I did reading for class. I did reading for myself. So just this here thingy. Yeah, and tomorrow I have a class at 10:30 and that goes until 12:15, and then my second class is at 3:30. So I have 3 hours that I am on campus because I don't go home in between classes, because then I'll just be very tempted to not go to the second class because it's a lecture, so not even interactive. I have 3 hours in between to do reading and assignments or crochet or read for something fun. I am going to be taking notes on this. It came from the closet. It's an essay collection on queer reflections on horror. And so far it is really interesting. I'm going to try to take notes on it so I can tell you something about it. And hopefully have more of an opinion than, yeah, that's cool. Because that's how I'm usually doing that. Anyway, go gym time. Bye-bye. Hi, it is still Monday, it's evening now. I went to the gym. It was busy, but it wasn't horrible. I brought my e-reader and I read while I was on the treadmill because otherwise I get bored. Sometimes I work on crochet projects, but the mushies aren't really optimal for that. You do get some weird looks if you're jogging and also crocheting. It's a little strange. I agree with people on that. It is a little strange, but I'm gonna do it anyway because I paid to go there and I am using the treadmill. I'm not sitting on a machine crocheting and not using a machine. I am actively speed walking and stuff, so I'm following rules. This is the mushy pile. This contains the 3 that already had the spots sewn on. Or is it this? And I am finding it increasingly funny that there's just one blue one in the pile. There will be more colors in there soon, but right now it's literally just the one blue guy in the full squad of red plushies. That's funny. This is currently the final mushie for today, and then I will sew on spots and start making more caps again. I'm not sure how many caps I'll be making tonight specifically because it is 8:30 and I did want to play some games, and I do have to get in the habit of not going to bed at 1 a.m. I don't have any early classes that require me to be up early, but I just prefer being awake a long time before I have to go to class if I have afternoon classes, because otherwise it feels like my day is very short. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, one more decrease. I'm not bored of the mushies yet, which is great. Great, wonderful, lovely. I've made like what, 10? Is this 10? I think it's 10. I was expecting to get annoyed at the bodies, but I figured out in class today, because I didn't want to bring stuffing, that I don't need to. I don't even need to leave yarn attached to them, because this tiny gap is enough for me to stuff them. So as long as I attach their eyes on time, I don't have to bring stuffing, and I can just make little mushy shells. And they are flattenable. Is that a word? I don't know. I can flatten them. They are able to be flattened. And then I stuff them at home, and I don't have to bring stuffing. And that's wonderful, because if I take stuffing with me, it's in this bag, like the little produce baggie that they have at the grocery store for 30 cents. It's very convenient. But this is basically the size of my book bag, especially if it's full, because this isn't full. And that makes it really inconvenient to bring it, so I don't really like doing that. Which is the main reason why I thought I wasn't going to enjoy making mushies, especially on like days where I had class, but it was fun, it was fine, it was nice. Some girlie complimented them in class. She thought they were adorable, and I was like, haha, you can buy one, haha. And I'm not sure if it worked, but she sounded interested at least. I never actually try to like seriously tell people that they can buy them. I just like say like, oh yeah, I'm making this many because I sell them, you know, I'm not a weirdo. I have a reason to make this many. Which is the closest to in-person advertising I will ever do, because that's awkward and I don't like doing it. I have some in-progress plushies in the bin still, like the jelly, the Fursona plush. I really want to finish that because it is so cool. I am so impressed with myself over that. I don't even remember how I did it. I have half a cloth sire. I have some dragon bodies. I have a bunch of partial things in the bin. I always have a bunch of partial things in the bin because I started a bunch of things. And I don't necessarily consider that a bad thing that I don't finish the things in the bin, as long as I make everything in chenille yarn with a 6mm hook. So I cannot forget which hook I was using, which is the main reason I don't finish things if I leave them for a bit. And I don't use yarn that is like in the color of things that I need to finish. Like I have a pink gelatinous cube slime whatever plushie that I'm making, and I'm not allowed to use that pink for anything. I know that I won't need a full skein, but I'm just not allowed to touch it because I need to have enough to finish that, right? I use that for all of them. So like if there is a color that I need to make sure I have enough of to finish something that I started, I'm just not allowed to touch that color, and if I want to use that color, I have to finish the thing first. And there's also a lot of days where I don't want to think of what to start, and then having a bunch of in-progress things already in the bin for me to finish is really nice. As long as I don't do that with things that are this small, because then it's not going to feel nice, right? Like this is what... I haven't actually timed these in a while. When I first made them, they took me over an hour, but I don't believe they take me long at all. I'd say they take me about the same time as the Cthulhu's, maybe a little bit quicker. Anyway, I'm gonna finish these up, sew on the spots, and then do something else. Good night. I will see you tomorrow. Hello, good morning. I'm getting ready to go to class. I made one mushy cap last night. I have my white, and I have this... It was advertised as fuchsia. It looks like a weird in-between of purple and red, so I will be making mushies in this color today. Got my safety eyes with me. I know that this isn't enough red to make all of them. I'll just make a bunch of caps when I run out of white. It's fine. I'm putting this back in the basket because I've made enough of these. I've made 10 of this red by now. And I'm gonna need to fit everything inside of this bag. I'm considering also bringing a green to make some Cthulhu bodies because I will be on campus for, what is it? 7 hours-ish? Oh yeah, literally 7 hours. Ooh. And we're always a little early, so close to 8 hours. Yeah, I'm gonna need more than 1.5 skeins of yarn. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm not gonna record anything on campus because that is awkward. So that's my update for today. I might update you when I get home. Good morning. It is Wednesday. I am gonna go to the gym in a bit because I have an evening class today. Yesterday I spent a full day on campus and then I got home and I crocheted some more, did some reading, went to bed. I was EP. We have 2 mushies that have bodies. This one still needs to be stuffed a little bit, so he's still open. This one's closed, no spots. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 caps right here. Then we have 1 mushy shell, so body done but no stuffing. And 1 partial mushy shell. And this is when I got distracted, right? I was in a Discord call with my friends and I remembered this mushroom pattern I saw actually like 2 years ago called Quinn the Mushroom. And the girlfriend of one of my friends, who is also a regular customer, is called Quinn. So I was like, I need to make that for y'all. And then I remembered that they're going to get engaged this summer. So I was just like, okay, so I need to make this for y'all and you're not allowed to pay for it. So I unraveled the pink gelatinous cube I was working on because I needed pink yarn because everything that I make for Storm is pink. And we have 2 heads. That's all so far, by the way. I read the first essay in It Came From the Closet on The Exorcist, where the author is talking about how who they identify within the movie changed over time, just like their queer identity changed over time. It was interesting, it was nice. I also thought it was really funny that this girl playing Jesus at an Easter play for the church was described as Jesus being their first and only drag performance. I like that. I am sure that the church would not have liked that if she said that there. So far very interesting. I'm deciding to read them one at a time with some time between because it is an essay collection. And I didn't have the mental energy to read non-fiction. So I didn't read the primate science book that this friend recommended me. I started reading Shark Heart because I saw it in a booktuber video and the description sounded really weird, so I had to know what it was about. So far it is really weird. I'm, what was I, 73 pages in? And it is strange. Neo baby, are you done? I hope you don't hear that well. Sorry about that. She always has bad timing with going to the litter box. I also switched to Storygraph from Goodreads. In the video where I was talking about reading and reading as a hobby, I talked about how it would be very difficult for me to switch away from Goodreads because I like having all of the information, and switching would mean leaving behind some of my info I have on there and also getting used to a new system. But it's January, so it's easiest for me to switch right now, and Storygraph also makes it easier to do the project I want to do as a reading tracker instead of using a formal one. I will continue using a formal one because I find that fun. I like statistics. But when my mood blanket, you know, the one that I am like 2 years behind on by now, when that is done, I want to start a reading tracker blanket. And I wanted to do that because I feel that it's more complete of a tracking system than Storygraph or Goodreads or alternatives are. Alternatives on social media, not alternatives as in you make your own spreadsheet and keep track that way. I did that when I was a child. It was chaotic. It wasn't actually very informative at all. I cannot trace back what I read as a child, and that is the only reason I convinced myself to switch to Storygraph, because my Goodreads is incomplete, so it's okay if my Storygraph starts in 2024. I only had to input 4 books. I've only read 4 books so far this year. Read, as in finished. What do I want to say? Right, the reading tracker blanket that I want to make includes fan fiction and distinguishes between actual reading with my eyes, and audiobooks. Which Goodreads and Storygraph can make a distinction if you fill it in. But it still counts your pages, I think, and in page tracking, I do want to consider the difference of that. The blanket would be granny squares in various types, like a traditional granny square, one that starts in the corner and goes like in an uneven version. Corner to corner granny square, so one that's just diagonal all around. A solid granny square, so with no gaps, and one that starts with like an actual circle in the middle and then just make it square on the last round, and a sunburst. Those two distinguish between page count, so less than 100 pages, 100 to 200, 200 to 300, and so on. And then colors to distinguish between genre and type. And then I would sew on a button if it was reading for educational purposes, so reading for university or anything else that I might want to get a diploma in or whatever like that, because I don't pick those books, and that's different in my brain. I want to add fanfiction to this because the reason I stopped reading fanfiction for multiple years is because it didn't count towards my Goodreads goal, which I think is bad. You should not read just because it adds to your Goodreads goal. But recently I've been getting recommended some that are actually like basically a whole book, except the characters aren't new. And I like that, because sometimes having to get to know a new character is effort that I don't feel like putting in when I want to relax. So I would track that. Also, some fanfiction is genuinely longer than the average book. The average book is between 70k and 100k words. I've seen fanfics that are described as short, being 150k words. It's I would add those into a blanket because I feel like I would have actually read something a day that is worth counting. But yeah, no, I have a Storygraph now. It should be public, so you could find it if you felt like looking at that. Just like with my anime list, I look at things on impulse. I don't care if they are in character for me, if they fit what I am used to reading. Neo is here, by the way. She's a good baby. Do not go on the table. My food is there and you came out of the litter box. Yesterday she stole a croissant, like right off someone's plate, and just ate it. Little menace. If you look on any of my media trackers, you'll see that they are used very irregularly, and that I track everything, including things that normally you would just like pretend you never saw. So look at those at your own distinction, like your own warning and whatever, I guess. Yeah. I'm gonna go to the gym in a bit. I'm bringing my e-reader again, because that was nice. I preferred it over crocheting at the gym. I need to do an activity while I'm doing cardio, because I could run on the treadmill, but I prefer speed walking because running hurts my back. And I know that that's probably because I'm doing it wrong, but no one has been able to explain to me how to do it correctly in a way that it doesn't hurt me, so we're just not doing it. But if you're just speed walking, it takes a while, and it gets boring. But if you bring a book or a small project, it doesn't get boring, and then it's fine. One time I was on the treadmill for 2 hours because I brought a crochet project. I did get weird looks, but I paid to be there, it's fine. Oh, Neo, little baby, you wanna say hi? Yeah, okay, I'm gonna finish my breakfast and then go to the gym. Okay, hi, good morning, it's Thursday. I did 0 crochet yesterday. I spent the entire day manually inputting my Goodreads history into Storygraph because the export function didn't work properly because I reread a lot of things. I'm done with that now. It took me the whole day. I also went to class and the gym and stuff, but besides those activities, it took me the whole day. Damn. I am running very low on safety eyes, especially the 10mm ones. So 10 and 12mm I learned from reordering them. So new ones. And this thing, jewelry stand thingy for my keychains at the market. So then I can dangle all the keychains on here and people can just go like, wee. And it looks a lot nicer than in a basket or something. I needed free shipping, okay. Yeah, now I'm gonna crochet again. I'm not sure what I'm gonna work on. I'm just gonna open the basket and like think. Pull the basket into the room, stare at it and just go, that one. Like it's either going to be the big mushrooms for Quinn and Storm, working on small mushrooms, or working on jelly. I have the whole day, so I'm probably gonna start easy and then go more difficult. Okay. Hi, hello. It is nearly 5 p.m. I have finished these little mushies for Storm and Quinn. It is the Quinn the Mushroom pattern, which is why I made them for these people. And they're gonna be gifts for their engagement. And I thought that was cute. I'm gonna make them both hold something in the opposite color so you can tell they match. I also really like how the pattern just kinda lets you do that. They're cute. They don't take nearly as long as I was worried they would, so that's fun. I will be making more of this pattern for sure, but I will not be embroidering the little hearts on them because that took... Like, it's not difficult, I just don't like embroidering as much, and I think they look completely fine without the spots. So I'm doing them without the spots. Right. While making those, I was listening to an audiobook. It is, what is it called? Give me a second. Icebreaker. It's like a sports romance thing, and I was interested in it because back in secondary school, I really liked the webcomic Check Please, which is a hockey romance, but it's queer, right? Like they are gay, and I'm pretty sure there was like a lot of diversity in the cast. It's been years since I read that, so I don't actually remember a lot of it. I just remember that I did like hockey as a setting, and that the main character used to be a figure skater before he got into hockey. And then Icebreaker's little blurb was just like, oh, a hockey player and an ice skater are like dating now. I don't know. It's kind of like they start off on bad terms because they have to share the rink after something fucked up at their uni college, and they used to have 2 rinks, so one for the hockey team, one for the figure skating people, and one of them broke and it was someone's fault and they had to share now, and that was fucking with their training, so they didn't get started on good terms, and that was the whole drama. And then overall most of the drama in it is based on the competitions, and I do vibe with that, but oh my god, this also just reads like fanfiction. Like, I have that with most romances I read, and that doesn't mean that I am not enjoying the story or the characters, but it doesn't... It is still a little bit weird, and especially because I'm reading it as an audiobook and it does have some open door spice scenes in it. I'm just sitting here like, ugh, I don't like the way they're doing their voice for the descriptions. But I'm also too lazy to actually read right now, so I'm listening. Yeah, it's decent. It could be a lot better in my opinion, but I get why people like it. I like romance as a genre. I am just often disappointed with the focus on the sex scenes instead of the actual character development, if that makes sense. I know that a lot of people read it for that, so it's valid for the author to put it in with a focus because that will get them money, but maybe don't make it such a major part of their personality. Like, the main girl's personality is that she is a brat and that she has anxiety, and like maybe put more focus on the anxiety over the being a brat. But no, it's fine. I also read some more on It Came From the Closet. I started the second essay in there, which is on, what was it called? Jessica's Body. I have never seen that movie. But apparently it was accused of queerbaiting back in the day, which I understand from the summary I looked up for it before reading the essay. It's interesting. I like the collection so far. I'm excited for the essays about movies that I did actually watch. Yeah, and I read more in Shark Heart. I don't know if I brought it up yet, where the man turns into a shark and it's like treated as completely normal because magical realism and whatever. I also don't know why I'm reading that. It's weird. I'm like not hating it, because if I'm hating it I would not finish reading it, but I'm just here like, why am I reading this and why is it not bad? But I have that with a lot of things I read, so that's fine. I am gonna go to the gym now, I think. Bad timing honestly, because it's again 5 and 5 is the busiest time. I might be better off if I go in the actual evening. But I also don't really want to crochet anything right now. Like, I want to have more of the mushies. But I am like in the weird soup where I want to stare at a wall and just have it be the next day. And for absolutely no reason, because today is good. So it's annoying me. But the mushies are cute. They are cute. I'm gonna figure out if I can get good lighting for them and take a little picture. Yeah. Bye. Hi, hello. It is Friday morning. I have to go to class in a bit. I am finishing up these mushy caps that I made earlier in the week. Here's the stack of shells. Oops. And here's the ones I still have left to do. I listened to some more of Icebreaker, and when the drama got more drama, they actually stopped taking off their pants so much, and now there's actual character development and like plot, and I'm enjoying it now. Like, this is good. They still make some jokes about the sex scenes and whatever, but that's not bad in my opinion. I think the jokes are funny. I just prefer not reading 13 open door sex scenes in one 300-page novel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I was thinking about how to describe this last night, and it's mostly that I don't enjoy when they don't let you know in advance that there's going to be open door romance. Like, I'm sure if I read a review or like a more detailed blurb somewhere, they would warn me about this. But usually when you do that, it comes with some kind of spoilers, and for this book I didn't want to do that. I read the blurb and I was like, oh yeah, those are 2 sports I enjoy, and it's a romance with actual competition as a subplot, and that sounds fun. But I would like if regular novels had the fanfiction tag system, like you have on Archive of Our Own, where if I look at the tags, I can tell if there's going to be like certain topics that I might want to avoid, which I would have to be spoiled for a bit more than just the topic if I were to look for book reviews, because usually The reviews contain a bit more information than I would like, but I just want the plain topics, if that makes sense. Like, I recently read a fanfic, and the tags told me there was going to be like certain types of trauma for the characters, a certain level of like talking about sex, but there wasn't going to be an actual sex scene. This fanfic author is actually lovely in this. They put no actual plot in any of the sex scenes they write, and then they just link that at the end of the chapter where you would put it in between. And they're like, this other link goes to this much you could read for this alternate universe, and it's got no plot in it at all. And if you don't want to read it, you just continue reading here. A lot of people also just put a warning before the chapter, but then they still include important plot points in it. Or it's just in the same story, and then you're like, oh, but now I'm skipping a part of the story. That feels weird. Anyway, I appreciate that the author does it that way. But the tag system was telling me about which tropes would be in there, which I love because I read for specific tropes, and there's also tropes I just really don't like. And the tag system told me the level of spiciness and also just which characters are in there, but that doesn't work for a novel with original characters, but it might work in the sense of character tropes. Because modern contemporary romance novels have a lot of trope characters in them, right? Like this has girl with anxiety and hockey player captain guy, who are, apart from the like, oh, the hockey player captain is actually like hella golden retriever vibes and he's super sweet. Apart from that, they are literally their stereotype in media. You could have just a tag system for books like that, and I think that Storygraph is trying to do that by tagging the mood, if it's slow, medium, or fast paced. And it has a trigger warning system, but a lot of the reasons why I don't read a book aren't trigger warnings. They're just tropes that I don't enjoy, right? So that isn't in there. I would like if there was a system like that, but I get that is also a lot of effort and that most people wouldn't use it, so I'll just deal with it. Speaking of, I finished inputting all of my stuff into Storygraph, putting it in the correct format and putting it in the correct ratings for as far as I can remember, because Goodreads only lets you do whole stars, like 1 through 5, and Storygraph lets you distinguish between like 3.5, 3.25, 3 3/4, stuff like that. So for some of the ones where I distinctly remember thinking, oh, this is like a 3.5, so I'll put it at a 4. This is like a 3.5, so I'll put it at a 3. I put those in on the halves, but most of it I don't remember, so I'll mostly be doing that going forward. And I looked at my statistics for a while, and I read a lot of romance, which is funny to me because I always think that's the genre that has the most things that I dislike about it. And then I realized, oh, wait, it's because I read manga and it counts every volume of Horimiya separately, and it counts every volume of Kaguya Love is War separately. It counts every volume of Komi Can't Communicate separately. So it's like, oh, you read 50 romance novels that year. And it's like, no, I just read 50 volumes of rom-com manga, which is very different in my opinion, because one volume of rom-com manga is like, what, 10 to 15 minutes of reading? And an actual book is like at least 2 hours. So that's very different in my brain, but the graph doesn't discriminate for manga versus actual novels, which is good, because I do count manga as reading for my reading challenges, even though it's way less intensive, right? Some of it is really intense, like a lot of psychological horror manga, or like the manga on heavy topics, those are still heavy reading because you have to just sit there and process it. But it's not the same as reading a novel. Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go to class in a bit, and it's a class that I really don't like, so afterwards I'm just gonna do whatever I feel like and not socialize. I consider this socializing. That's probably bad. Talking to what is in my head a person counts as socializing. This is in my head talking to a person because I assume that someone will eventually see it, which has been proven to me by comments. Someone has seen it because if a comment exists, someone has been here. I consider it socializing at that point, and I'm not going to be able to do that tonight probably because I have to do a really difficult part of academics. So I'm going to end this here. I'm going to edit probably tomorrow and then you'll see it. I think I talked about books a lot, which makes sense because I started reading a lot. Sometimes I watch a lot of anime, sometimes I play a lot of video games, sometimes I read a lot, sometimes it's a mix. Almost always I crochet. So I hope the change of topic is interesting still, and also if you have any book recommendations, let me know. I am currently looking for books that take place in libraries, because I read that fanfic, which has one of the main characters being a librarian, or like working at a library, and I really enjoyed that setting. And I would like that in an original character. It doesn't have to be a romance, it can be horror or just a slice of life type thing. I just really enjoyed the library setting and I'm looking for more of that. So if you have read anything like that and you think I might like it, let me know. Please, I would love that. Also, I got my free trial for an audiobook service, so I am replacing listening to music with audiobooks this month because why would I pay for Spotify when I have a free trial for audiobooks? And I'm thinking that will lead me to having a lot more book content because it's easier to listen to an audiobook than read while crocheting. Reading while crocheting I am capable of doing, but it is usually a granny stitch, which is a very tactile stitch. You can feel what you're doing without looking at it. While with the mushies I have to look at it because it contains bobbles and increases and decreases and you kind of have to see that more clearly. Anyway, yeah, that was all. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.